So before I get on out of here, I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin.
You would think that giving a rookie the most iconic number in women's basketball history would be sufficient to make things right, wouldn't you? Reconsider. Stephen A. Smith has unleashed a bombshell that has the entire Team USA committee scrambling for cover. And it changes everything we thought we knew about the power dynamics in the WNBA. There are rumors that Team USA did not only ask Caitlin Clark to rejoin the team in a last-ditch effort to improve their reputation. They attempted to give her the number 12 jersey. That's more than just a mesh tank top number. That is Diana Taurasi's number. In women's basketball, it is the ultimate goal. However, Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham reportedly stared the committee in the eye and declared, "We're not playing," rather than saying thank you and standing in line like every other rookie in history. This is the moment the WNBA realizes it no longer owns the power, and the fallout is going to be disastrous. You must examine that numbers past in order to comprehend why this is such a huge smack in the face to the system. Jersey 12 is more than simply fabric and sewing. It's the championship in the world of women's basketball. Diana Taurasi has owned it for 20 years. It depicts the White Mamba, the dominance of the old guard and the Yukon dynasty. For the Olympic Committee to turn around and offer that specific jersey to Caitlin Clark tells you everything you need to know about how desperate they are. They are aware that without her, the ratings are plummeting. They tried the ultimate pandering tactic, erasing a living hero to appease the rookie they had been disparaging for months, because they knew the people were incensed. However, they made a deadly arithmetic error. They believed Caitlin desired their generosity. They believed that the disrespect of the previous 6 months would be outweighed by the jersey's prestige. They were mistaken. However, Stephen A. Smith was not going to be silent about this. In his most recent program, he addressed the issue head-on and gave the background information that the mainstream media is reluctant to discuss. He acknowledged that the offer had been made and described it as a pitiful attempt to maintain his dignity. Smith pointed out that you can't spend months letting veterans bully a player, leave her off the Olympic squad, and then believe a jersey number is going to restore the relationship. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about basketball anymore. It's about respect." His sources claim that Caitlin was able to see straight through it. She was aware that accepting that number would just make her a more vulnerable target. It would be perceived as her taking the throne from Taurasi before Taurasi was ready to leave. And that would make everyone in the locker room even more hostile to her. At this point, the plot takes a surprising turn. Sophie Cunningham's involvement. The media attempted to portray Sophie and Caitlin as fierce rivals for a period, particularly following those physical altercations between the Fever and the Mercury. The narrative was easy. Sophie is the enforcer for the old guard and Caitlin is the upstart, but the rumors swirling now suggest a dramatic shift in loyalty. According to reports, Sophie Cunningham is declining to team up with Caitlin for Team USA.
Why?
Due to the fact that she has recognized the writing on the wall. According to the rumors, Sophie is fed up with the bitchy female vibe and small-time politics that have afflicted the league's locker rooms this season. What does it mean for players like Sophie, who work hard every day if the league is going to treat their golden goose this way? In the sand, she is making a line. This is the first significant player uprising in the WNBA's current era. By refusing to play, even with the honor of Jersey 12 on the table, Caitlin and Sophie are stripping the league of its two strongest assets, the generational talent and the fearless personality that drives interest. It conveys the idea that the players no longer fear the establishment. The committee believed that if they offered a shiny gift and snapped their fingers, everyone would comply. Rather, they were turned down. And let's be honest, a Team USA roster without these two after all this drama and the ratings decrease is going to look weak. It appears to be a team from the past rather than the future. However, the justification for their rejection may be much more startling than the rejection itself. The WNBA is afraid of this piece of the puzzle, which Stephen A. Smith has been alluding to for weeks. There have been rumors that outside investors are keeping an eye on all of this mayhem while holding checkbooks, rediscussing private equity and possibly even foreign leagues hoping to launch a rival league or a huge competition that can compete with the Olympics. If Caitlin and Sophie refuse to play for the present system, it's because they might know they have a billion-dollar safety net waiting for them elsewhere. You can form your own league and manage the show instead of putting up with small-minded envy, hard fouls, and hazing over a jersey number. The refusal to play isn't just a no. It serves as a warning that the WNBA's stronghold on women's basketball is eroding. This jersey 12 offer's timing is likewise quite dubious. It comes right after allegations revealed that ticket sales for the post-Olympic WNBA games were spiking just for teams Caitlin was playing against. While interest in the old guard teams was stagnating, the league executives aren't foolish. They examine the spreadsheets. They observe that the growth they have been boasting about vanishes in the absence of Caitlin Clark. It was a Hail Mary who offered her Taurasi's number. It was their way of saying, "All right, you've won. Now you are the league's face. Please save us." However, Caitlin's refusal demonstrates her power. She doesn't need their validation. To be excellent, she doesn't need Tosi's number. In actuality, wearing 22 has already gained more notoriety in just 6 months than wearing 12 over the previous 6 years.
Sophie.
Cunningham's involvement is made much more intriguing by Stephen A. Smith's discussion of the Phoenix Mercury's internal dynamics. Remember, Sophie plays with Diana Taurasi. For her to supposedly agree with Caitlin in this boycott shows that there is problems in Paradise Down in Arizona. Could it be that the veteran has alienated their own comrades by refusing to share the torch? Sophie Cunningham is intelligent and a competitive. She is aware that Caitlin's style of play will determine the league's future. Fast, deep threes, high scoring. By identifying herself with Caitlin, Sophie is protecting her own future and distancing herself from a generation of players who the public are coming to view as spiteful and gatekeeping. It's a moral decision as much as a professional one. Let's examine the disrespect that Stephen A. frequently brings up in more detail. It's not only about the Olympic snub. It's about the quiet. When Caitlin was getting hard fouled, when she was getting face-guarded 94 feet from the hoop, when Kennedy Carter hip-checked her, the league was silent. There was no word from the Team USA committee. However, all of a sudden, they want to give her the program's most prized jersey. It seems dishonest. It seems like a bribe. Additionally, rumors claim that the gesture offended Caitlin's camp. They believed that if Team USA truly valued her, they would have included her to the squad on the basis of merit back in June rather than attempting to buy her off with a jersey number in August after realizing they had ruined the TV ratings. The Diana Taurasi factor is another. We haven't heard much from her addressing this specific rumor, but picture how that conversation went down. Did the committee ask Diana before offering her number to a rookie? If they did, and she said yes, that suggests she's ready to retire. But if they didn't ask her, which is totally plausible given how panicked the committee sounds, then they just degraded their best player of all time to chase a rookie. This is the mayhem that Caitlin Clark's presence has revealed. The league is destroying relationships with its legends in an attempt to keep up with a hype train because they are so unprepared for this degree of fame. Stephen A. Smith is devouring this managerial catastrophe. You must also consider the sentiment of the fans. Go to any comment area, any forum, any Twitter thread. Fans are supporting Sophie and Caitlin. The story has drastically changed. The pay your dues argument is dead. People witnessed Caitlin's actions at the All-Star game. They saw her breaking assist records. They are aware that she should be on that court. So, when the committee tries to perform a gimmick like offering jersey 12, the fans see it as desperate. They saw it as an attempt by the league to steal Caitlin's brand in order to preserve their own. By refusing, Caitlin and Sophie are actually earning more popularity. They are becoming anti-heroes, standing up against a system that tried to hold them back. It is the traditional tale of the United States versus the rest of the globe. And the screenplay was unintentionally written for them by the WNBA. It always boils down to the dollar in professional sports, so let's speak about money once more. Stephen A. Smith mentioned that the TV partners are furious. NBC, ESPN, Amazon, all paid big money for these rights, expecting the Caitlin Clark effect to extend over into the Olympics and the playoffs. Millions of dollars in advertising income were effectively set on fire when Team USA decided to cut her off the team. These networks probably put pressure on the company to offer Jersey 12. The committee was likely informed, "Fix this or we renegotiate." However, Caitlin is demonstrating that she recognizes her worth by declining to play. You can't merely move her around as an employee to increase ratings. The franchise is her. And if she doesn't want to play, the machine stops. The effect on the culture of the locker room must also be taken into account. If Caitlin had accepted Jersey 12, image the hazing. Consider what the other veterans would say. "Oh, you believe that you are now Diana? Do you believe you deserve that?" It would have been awful. It would have isolated her even further. She avoids that trap by refusing. Although she appears powerful to management, she maintains her humility in the eyes of the general population. Additionally, Sophie Cunningham's support dispels the myth that Caitlin is despised by all of the players. It shows that the smart players, the ones who want the league to develop, are on her team. It divides the WNBA into two factions: those who want to grow the game and those who want to protect their spots. Stephen A. Smith also brought up a very uncomfortable truth regarding the selection committee. He inquired, "Who are these people protecting?" The decision to leave her off was initially portrayed as a basketball choice, stating she lacked experience. Offering her a Jersey 12, however, completely contradicts that. If you believe a rookie lacks experience, you don't give her the captain's number. This contradiction reveals the untruth. It proves that the initial snub was personal. It was petty. And now when they are trying to walk it back, they seem incompetent. Smith's investigation confirms that the WNBA's leadership is fragmented, and they are making decisions based on emotion and panic rather than logic and strategy. What does this signify for Team USA's future? If Caitlin and Sophie hold fast on this rejection, Team USA